Hi, this is Dan Luche from Tiny Home Builders. In today's step, we're going to be removing the excess boards from the trailer. We can remove the excess boards because the joists that are going to be used in the subfloor are actually going to run perpendicular to these boards. So there's not as much support as required. Then also we want to save the screws that we're going to be removing to remove the boards because we're going to use those also to reinforce the boards that we're going to keep down. Now to remove these boards, on this particular trailer, there's a metal cover here and on the back and on the front, and then there's also screws for each board that goes into one of the metal support beams that runs underneath the trailer. So all we'll have to do is pull those out, pull the boards up, put these back down, and screw it back together. Now sometimes there's you've got electrical wiring back here for the lights. In this particular trailer, that electrical wiring is just run underneath the trailer through some welded washers that they put on the trailer. I've seen trailers where they actually staple the wires onto the metal or the wood boards underneath. So you want to double check that to make sure that you're not going to, when you remove the wooden boards, you're not going to be ripping out your wiring. I've done that, and then you have to go back underneath and repair it. Now to do this job, I'm going to be using an impact driver. This is a little bit different than a standard screwdriver. It can be likened to an impact wrench that you'd see at a mechanic shop. This thing is by far my favorite tool. You can use it to remove some things that, or to drive some screws that you just couldn't do with a standard screwdriver. So one additional step that I took was I realized that when I took the boards out, some of the screws that were holding down this metal were going through some of the boards that were taken out. So I'm afraid that if I put this screw back into the metal without the board there, what's going to end up happening is the metal is going to buckle, and it may cause me problems later on because there may be a raised spot over here. So what I did was I went ahead and took cut the ends of the boards off of the boards that I removed where the screws went through. And I'll be able to put those in, put the screw through there, and then it'll act as a spacer so that the metal won't buckle. Okay, and now the last step is to take the extra screws that we had left over from removing the boards, and I'm going to go ahead and reinforce the other boards that we have remaining. I'm going to really focus on the outside boards, so this board on this side and then the other board on the other side, and just kind of space the screws out. Most of the torque is going to be on the outside. You know, when you go around a corner and you're pulling up on these bottom boards with the weight of the house, it's going to be mostly focused on the outside board. So that's where we want to focus our screws. Use the screw, went ahead and pre-drilled the board and through the metal, and then once again use the impact driver to drive the screw all the way in. To determine the bit size, I just kind of took my bit set and put it into the existing holes to see which one just barely fit. If it didn't fit, that means it was too big, because the screw hole that was put in there originally was made bigger by this. So you don't want to make a screw hole too big because then these won't grab. So I just found the bit that just barely fit. Once I found that, went ahead and screwed the holes and then drove the screws.